right. What is up, y'all? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. This is the second ever episode of What's the Solution with your girl, Molly Ferdinand. Uh, we are going to be talking about all things health and wellness, actually. Um, and we're going to be talking about, more than anything, what is the solution? It's obviously quite a confusing topic. There's a lot of information out there. But I want to kind of shift the way we look at our health and wellness just in general. Just to recap on last episode, which was our very first episode, I did want to give a shout out to @Dorian for your feedback. I appreciate that. And just to clear up a little comment that I made about Canada being a third world country, it definitely is becoming in some pockets. So if you're not aware of that, it might just not be on your particular street. As I stated before, though, I welcome all comments. That's what we're here for. I want to empower you today with everything that I know, and I look forward to the negative ones, the negative comments, because those are where we learn things. So come with your solutions as well. Oh, sorry, my bad. We're still good. We're good. Anyway, I wanted to start this off just by giving you a little bit of background about me. So, growing up, I was actually a competitive athlete. Hockey was my main sport, but I played just about everything I could get my hands on. And I played hockey at every level until I was too old to play and went off to university where I studied human body biology and psychology. But I started coaching. I still played as an overage player for a while, but then I started joining some women's leagues. But um, I got very involved in coaching, and I loved everything about the rink. I just couldn't get enough. Um, I was also always very curious about food, diet hacks, cleanses, soups, regimens. I've pretty much tried everything under the sun, trust me. I can tell you how it works and how to use it to its full advantage because I've been on a quest for self improvement my entire life. Anyhow, I stepped away from coaching when I moved to Alberta the first time. I continued playing my own sports, but coaching in the big city is just a little bit too political and too competitive. So yeah, it was already starting to become not fun. The higher up the ranks you go. But eventually, I started doing spin classes and I developed a new obsession back when spin classes were like all the rage. They were kind of a cult. At that same time that I was going to all these spin classes, all of my sales jobs that I was given were just not coming to fruition, and I kind of needed to do something. So I worked out the math and I found a 4-month course that I could take and I could pay for it as long as I worked like a slave the entire time. So that's what I did. I worked 4 jobs while going to school. I was exhausted, but it was very well worth it. And I blew it out of the water, came out with credentials that I knew would be recognized around the world. Um, but more and personal training was just going to be like a foundation for me for everything else I was going to add on top of that. But I wanted the knowledge more than anything. I just wanted to know because I could have taken a 2-week course and become a personal trainer very easily, but it I wouldn't have the knowledge to be confident in what I was doing. My classmates will attest to the fact that I never stopped asking questions to the point that I would drag out class and make us all late leaving because I just wanted to go so deep with my questions. I already had a good understanding from university and from all my own research. So I wanted to get every penny's worth of knowledge from this teacher. So uh, after completing that, I worked at a few different family centers and gyms, and I worked with some teams and some classes. But eventually, I ended up working at a very high end oil and gas camp on a 7 on, 7 off rotation, which was cool because that rotation actually allowed me to acquire my nutrition certification and my yoga certification at the same time. And once I had accumulated all of my credentials and enough confidence in what I was doing, I left oil and gas And I started my own business in Edmonton, providing in home personal training to people, in home personal training, nutrition, and yoga. I did a lot of meal prep for people as well. There's a lot of nutritional counseling and a lot of one on one yoga, actually, which was surprising. After some time and a big life change, I jumped ship on Edmonton. I moved to New Zealand where I taught yoga there. So I always kind of kept one foot in the fitness world. And then upon moving back to Nova Scotia, I again started teaching hot yoga, but I was also running my own yoga class at the beach every Sunday. And then again, moving to Windsor, found myself teaching in a very nice facility called Movati. If you've ever heard of it, it's a very nice place. And I took some more credentials, and one of those was aerial hoop instructing. So if you do a little deep dive on my Instagram, you'll find me doing some Cirque du Soleil in a hoop hanging from the ceiling. It was so fun. But within all of these various roles that I've taken, I've always looked for the ways to help people and empower people. In my yoga classes, I would take the time to remind people of the things that I really feel like all people need to be reminded of on a regular basis. And when people were in Shavasana, I would take that opportunity to kind of plant positive seeds for them in their day to day life. When I was a coach, I actually tried to start a charity called Hope for Hockey, which is one of my middle names. But it was basically a charity to kind of get girls suited up to get them on the ice to see if they even liked it. Because once upon a time, there was a coach here in my hometown that did that for me. And it gave me my love for the sport. And I so badly just wanted to give that to more girls. As a trainer, you become a counselor, you're a bit of an accountability officer. And so I always use those windows to kind of spew as much knowledge on people as I could, because when you understand why you're doing something, it radically changes the way you do it, how you experience it, and the choices that you make moving forward. And most people's views about health and wellness are not really right. It's not totally wrong, but it's on purpose that it's such a confusing world when it comes to health and wellness. So let's see if I can shed a little light here. Excuse me. First of all, we have to actually acknowledge these vessels as these water based, mineral based, crystal based electromagnetic fields capable of all kinds of things that we are deliberately denied the knowledge of. I am, as I have recently discovered the word for, a claircognizant, which is apparently a psychic ability. I've just been trying to chalk it up to so many things my whole life, but my whole life I just knew things. And a lot of the things that I instinctively knew or felt are things that are coming to light now and being validated. Starting with, we need the sun. It's actually good for you. You know what isn't good for you? Sunscreen. Sunscreen is not good for you. Learn how your skin behaves in the sun. Wear loose cotton fitted shirts and get yourself some apple cider vinegar. You drink a bit before you're going to go out in the sun. And then if you do happen to get overexposed, you take a cloth, you wet the cloth with apple cider vinegar, you dab it on your skin, let it sit there for a bit, and then you just rinse it off with some water, and it will take the heat and the sting out of your sunburn. You will not peel, you will not blister, and you will have a tan by morning. You're welcome. Tell your bestie, tell your auntie, tell your neighbor. It balances the pH in your body and in your skin, and it puts you right back on track. So there's no um, sunburns keeping you up, but be sensible about your sun exposure. And ladies, morning sun balances your hormones, and afternoon sun for you fellas. But I want to shift gears and I want to kind of talk about food right off the hop here. You are what you eat. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Why do we say these things? Because everything you eat, you become. You take on the energy of that animal or that plant. And you can quantify that in vitamins and minerals and calories, but it's all energy. The first thing I notice whenever I take on a new client is the hyperfixation on calories in and out, because that's what we are told to focus on. We're told like that's our whole health is like calories in and out. And don't get me wrong, it's important. But if you understand how food sources behave in the body, you will be led to make better choices all around in a much less rigid way. Food is a powerful tool and one that's being used against the masses on purpose. For example, anything with glyphosate, which is pretty much anything that's not organic, becomes hydrophobic, and you're a water vessel. So if you eat that, you become hydrophobic. Then you start to develop chronic dehydration from consuming processed carbohydrates. They've destroyed our water. It's no longer living and it's pumped full of chemicals. Oh, by the way, this is all alleged and for entertainment purposes. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, just in case anything goes wrong based on what I'm saying. We are made up of different fats as well, which are equally as important. And the types of fat and the source of fat really matters. They know this. That's why they're drowning you in seed oil. They put it in and on everything. Well, here's a fun fact about seed oil. Farmers stopped putting it in their feed and their cattle stopped getting dementia. Pig farmers put coconut oil in their feed to try and fatten up their pigs, and the pigs got skinnier. Your brain is made up of cholesterol. You need 200 micrograms a day for proper hormone production and brain function, but they villainize eggs. This is all on purpose. Fats and oils themselves are these delicate chains, and they're damaged very easily. The reason the history books, or there is a reason the history books and the Bible speak so much about oils being the most precious thing that you could give. Spinal fluid is a delicate oil, and you become what you eat. If you eat enough seed oil, which is in just about everything, not only will you accumulate more fat, the space in your brain will increase, which leads to mental decline of various kinds. You can call it dementia, you can call it Alzheimer's. There's no genetic markers on these things that say you're born with this and you're predestined to have it. No, it's not. It's environmental. Damaged chains of fat create inflammation, accumulation, free radicals, and problems in the body all around. Fat also acts as a insulator to the nervous system. It's a buffer for toxins in the body as well. Think about that on an emotional level for a moment, though. Are you the kind of person that eats your feelings? Because we all do. You're actually trying to create separation from the feeling. You're trying to stuff it. And so your body responds by packing more fat all over the body and dulling the nerve endings. The extreme demonstration of that being the people who end up on my 600-pound life. A show I love for the transformational purposes, but I can also see that there is a huge addiction aspect of it, which most shows went the same, just different faces. But when it comes to picking oils at the grocery store, cold press virgin is the gentlest process to extract the oil, therefore rendering it the best choice. Good fats will make you skinny and bad fats will make you fat, period. For women, the type of fat and oil matters so much. And it's the difference between strong PMS symptoms, hormone balance, and many other things. Because fat is actually the main building block of estrogen, just like protein is the main building block of testosterone. So men and women, we have different needs based on these things. The sun also oxidizes fat, so often you'll see a bottle of oil in an opaque bottle, and that's why. But I want you to pause on that thought just for a second, coming back to the sun being good for us. I want to point out that the sun actually has that effect, that oxidizing effect on the fat that is on your body. So if you want to get skinny, get your butt in the sun. You want vitamin D for strong bones? Get in the sun. You want whiter teeth? Get in the sun. Want to keep your teeth that way? Stay away from sugar. But not really for the reasons that you think. Well, for the reasons that you think, but not solely for the reasons that you think. Sure, refined sugar spikes your insulin, which insulin's job is to go out in your bloodstream, grab all the unused calories, and put them directly on your stomach. And sure, sugar, it makes your teeth bad and Makes your breath bad and your teeth yellow. It feeds cancer cells. It disrupts your hormones. But what you might not know, it's something I just learned recently, is it actually inhibits your body's ability to produce bone marrow. It stops that process, which also means it stops producing white blood cells because that's where they're made, is in your bone marrow. So your teeth yellowing might not just be from not brushing or too much sugar. It could be, well, sugar, but it could be something deeper in your bones. Sugar also creates a dopamine high, which means your body will stop producing its own feel good hormones when you're replacing it with something artificial. Alcohol really does that to the body. And okay, I do get asked a lot, so I'll just throw this out there. I use Arm& and Hammer baking soda toothpaste. I use a round head electronic toothbrush, and once in a while I'll use a Crest White Strip. But I've never had cavities. I've never had braces. I've never had any dental work of any kind. This is just mom didn't let us have dessert and ketchup and sugar and stuff growing up, and it really is that simple. I've never broken a bone either, and neither have any of my brothers. So that's part of it's obviously genetic, but no, sugar has a big part to play, but for a deeper reason than we're told. Like, yes, sugar will weaken your enamel, but it's more of an inside job. Anyways, another thing I do is I actually incorporate apple cider vinegar into my water, well, for so many different reasons, but apple cider vinegar will also keep the minerals down in your body, especially fluoride, things like that. Sun gazing will do the same thing. Sorry, apple cider vinegar decalcifies the pineal gland, which helps you kind of get connected to the world around you, connected to your higher self, connected to everything. And sun gazing has the same effect, coming back to the sun being so good. Um, but when I'm dependent on city water as well, I'll add some apple cider vinegar to all my glasses of water just to cut down on that minerals. Apple cider vinegar also helps to mix the oils and the waters in our bodies, same way a glass of wine does. So, a glass of wine and a bit of apple cider vinegar sort of do the same thing. So, alcohol in small amounts, not that bad. But apple cider vinegar is still a better path. It's all about the pH and the frequency in your body. And that's why this all matters and why they are poisoning you so badly. And speaking of bones, did you know that up here in Canada, they studied moose and found that there is a correlation between moose that lived in high areas of wheat and arthritis? So there is a strong correlation with white foods and any bone problems, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis. White foods like potatoes, rice, bread, and refined sugar, they create joint and bone problems. You often aren't born with these genes destined to have these ailments, like I said. They're caused by your environment. So there's no pill that's going to fix this. This is an inside job. The solution to healthy bones, though, is rebounding and weightlifting. If you're looking for an exercise to do, that's the best thing to do for building your bones up. But the problem with pills and pharma is that it takes the accountability off of you and puts it on the healthcare system and pills, and it's all failing. It's extremely expensive, and it's proven to know nothing about what I'm sitting here and talking to you all about. Again, on purpose. Obviously, I'm speaking in general terms here, but their medicine is symptom treatment, and that does damage in other ways, always, every time, just about. I acknowledge medical advancements, but petroleum based medicine is 8 times out of 10 not good. There's no money in cures, and they've made quite a business out of treating your symptoms. I personally haven't touched pharma in like 10 years. I mean, not even an Advil. I have natural things for my ailments and I know how my body functions, but I don't touch pills. The other thing they don't tell you is that cancer cells metabolize on sugar. The cells do not metabolize on oxygen the same way that ours do. So, quite literally, you can carnivore diet your way to curing cancer. Why is that not more widely known? It's not every type of cancer, but it's the majority of them. Now, that's a lot about sugars and fats, but I want to just talk to you a little bit about the highly debated protein right off the hop. I want to make the comparison of a silverback gorilla and you. Those guys are huge and they're just living on twigs and fruit and leaves, and they occasionally have meat. So, okay, I know that there's a little bit of genetic difference, obviously. I just wanted to work you backwards from that comparison. I personally don't eat meat. And the two main reasons are because I can't afford to ensure that the quality is to where I would eat it on the rare occasion that I might. I draw a hard line at pork and pork byproducts because that's just an instinct. I don't think it's good. I just eat how and when I feel like it, and I'm never inclined to eat meat. And I'm very muscly and energetic, so I can't say I'm lacking protein at all. And two, it's my personal choice that I make for Mother Earth because mass meat production is a huge environmental problem, and I can't do anything about that, but I can not buy it. So that's just my one personal choice. But here's the cold, hard truth about meat is although meat is high in all the amino acids that are required to create complete proteins in the body, it is very hard for your body to break that down and get at it and actually use. So while fruits and vegetables might not be complete proteins, combined, they are. Oh, and we're back, I think. All right. I don't know where we left off there. Oh no, and now life be treated like a commodity and then wasted so badly. Not to mention, no one knows what or from where they're even getting this meat. The energy of that animal then becomes you. Their energy is now yours. Was it frightened and full of despair before it died? Was it stuck in a 2x2 cage getting attacked its whole life? I can't know that unless I know the farm from which it came, from a farmer who loved his animals, maybe, and didn't destroy them with hormones and other chemicals. If I can't answer that, I wouldn't personally eat it. I grew up living off the land. My parents always had gardens, and my family all had farms. I was taught how to hunt and fish and skin a rabbit and tie knots. I have no problem with meat in small amounts. I don't mind handling it, I don't mind being around it. But I think it matters how we revere it. Like, we need to be showing life a little bit more respect. Women are absolutely different than men when it comes to this. We don't require as much protein, but as somebody who's done strict Atkins, a lot can be said for eating high protein. But more than it was relying on the protein, it was the no sugar part that fixed you. If you've ever done it and found that you had more energy, your skin cleared up, your hormones were balanced, and the list goes on, it's more to do with there being no sugar in your diet. But here's the magic pill. If you're still with me, so I know that this just like messed up and I don't know where we're at now, but hopefully you're still with me here. The magic thing when it comes to all ailments, all everything, when it comes to health and wellness, you want to fix any problem that you have in the body, Ready? Fast. I preach fasting as much as I preach castor oil. And I'll share the extreme end of fasting and give you a little breakdown of why this fixes most things. But while I was personal training in oil and gas, I did what's called the master cleanse. Quickly, if you don't know what it is, it's a no food cleanse. You do 7 to 21 days, depending on you decide. You do a flush in the morning and you do a flush at night. And then throughout the day, you drink a mixture of lemon juice to clean, cayenne pepper to keep things moving because the bowel is the best way to detox always. And then grade B maple syrup for energy, vitamins, and all your vital stuff that you need day to day. The first 4 days are not pleasant at all. Your hunger peaks, you're cold, there's stuff coming out of you, and you can feel a bit fluish, but you're very cold. That's one thing nobody tells you. Every day after day 4 gets better and better. I wouldn't say day 5 is amazing, but you're not cold and hungry anymore. Also, I had been given medical advice that I could go 20 some days without eating as long as I took in water. That was a doctor telling me that because I was having some stomach issues, but I won't break down what happens like specifically day by day in this process, but since your fats hold on to toxins, when your body starts to feed on your own reserves, you can get an immediate like ick and get quite sick in the early days. But once you've worked through that and your body has regained balance and homeostasis, then the deeper work and the magic really starts. The organs fully detox and rejuvenate. The bloodstream is flowing great. You feel sharper, heightened, and light as a feather. Your body has a chance to revisit old wounds and breaks and heal them even deeper. And the body is so incredibly intelligent that it just knows to and how to do that, to heal. If you had a machine that could do all the things that the human body could do, you would never let anything near it, let alone feed it the poisons that we do. And all we ever have to do is the same thing we keep saying to Mark Carney is get out of the way. And the way we do that with our own health is to give it a break because so much of your energy goes just to detoxing and digesting all day long. It's all the stuff that's it's combating. But I talked to my doc. I had an East Indian doctor who said, offered me doing mini fasts as well. It's another option. But anyway, I felt instinctively at 14 days that my body had done all it needed to do. At that point, I was just kind of withering away. So I did 14 days and I slowly incorporated food and flavors back in. But the flavor and energetic effects of food after this break were out of this world. I remember my first coffee after 14 days of nothing but this drink. I had to remind myself when my boss came in my office that I had done something perfectly normal and legal. I was buzzing on caffeine so bad that I was paranoid. So now intermittent fasting is something that I have fully embraced, but I don't do it strictly. I don't, and not to a schedule. I just eat how I feel like eating. And if I'm hungry throughout the day, I will have something light, but I usually have just one really big meal at nighttime. And if we think about it, eating always used to be like ceremony, ritual, fellowship at the end of the day. And then we rest and digest. So if we're designed that way and we've been doing that for thousands of years, maybe we don't really need breakfast and lunch quite like we're sold we need. And a lot of people don't want to eat breakfast, and maybe that's okay. Maybe you do have just a snack or two throughout the day, and then whatever your heart desires in the evening, within reason. I know my body, and I would never deprive it for vanity. I listen to it. I let myself be guided, and I make sure I'm always eating for the right reasons. We don't need to eat as much as we do. You know how I know that? Because I got these things. And when we eat too much, we accumulate extra on the body. That's visible. So if we're eating too much, then we need to ask ourselves why. You need to be very clear with why you're eating. Sometimes you need to be clear with why you're eating every single time you go to eat until you change the habit. When it's emotional and you find yourself eating to cope, the only way to move past that is to stop feeding it mentally and physically. Feel the feelings without coping mechanisms. Talk to somebody so that you can let go of the emotional intensity of whatever you're trying to cope with, and then make a choice to only eat when it's really necessary. Because 9 times out of 10, the hunger feeling is due to dehydration. I think it's actually like 70% of the time, hunger pains are actually just thirst. And like feelings, because it is just a feeling, hunger pains are like a wave. You just sit through it, retrain your mind and your body. But you have to look at food sometimes like an addiction. And addiction isn't a substance, it's a trauma response, it's a behavior, and it's the same across every substance. It's an emotional state, it's a frequency, it's a loop people can't get out of without help sometimes. Food is one of those substances for some people, and some people it's their phone, some of it's gambling. All three of those are all dopamine highs. You're actually just addicted to dopamine. And we have a whole bunch of micro addictions in our societies now where, and it's not disruptive enough that people really have to change what they're doing. So they end up just always staying addicted to their phones or to, whatever. But there is something to be said for eating for your blood type as well. That's something else I wanted to mention. If you know yours, I encourage you to check yours out. I'll tell you a fun little story. My mom told me I was O my whole life, and I looked up eating for O blood type, and I totally dismissed the whole theory because it didn't resonate. And then about a year ago, I found out I'm A positive. And then I revisited that concept with that new information, and it is to a T exactly how I instinctively eat anyway. It says no pork, avoid red meat, maybe a bit of chicken and eggs. And that's just how I feel inclined to eat. So turns out it was right. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, though. If you do, go check it out for yourself. The water content of your body, again, 70% water, and 70% of your hydration should actually come from the food you eat, because drinking water is not the best way to hydrate. Eating your hydration is the best. And drinking dead chemical ridden water all day long is not better for you. You end up depleting your body of electrolytes while pumping your own body full of minerals and chemicals, depending on your water source. And another thing that I feel like should be really widely known is that if your food is more than 50% cooked on your plate, your body, sorry, will have an immune response. Your body will treat that food like a threat, and your white blood cell count will rise just for your food being more than 50% cooked. Imagine what it's doing when it sees all the processing and chemicals, like it's just having a heyday in there. But your intuition really is your gut, and there's a bigger reason that they're trying to damage everyone's gut and their flora is to disconnect you, to keep you health dependent on the evil machine that is pharma, because the more dependency, the more control. That's what it's all for. Your choices should be about being your best self and feeling great because you deserve it. And you only get one life. This vessel that your soul was gifted is a blessing and an opportunity. And you don't deserve to spend your life worrying about how you look all the time. Just be in the moment, enjoy it. And you can do that by making better choices. It's not rigid diets, it's eating food as close to its natural source with the least amount of chemicals and ingredients. And there's no perfect answer, there's no perfection in all this. It's about striving to be better all the time. Because when you know better, you do better. And all the little choices over time, as you learn more, are what make real, authentic change, long lasting change. Changes for vanity are not sustainable, they're not real. And it's just, you're just setting yourself up. Uh, it's small choices all the time. Oh, did we have no? No. Oh, sorry. I'm just looking over here, checking the comments to see if there's any questions. Oh, we got people from Pakistan. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, hello from Canada. I'm in Canada. Am I a physician? No, I'm not a physician. I am a personal trainer, nutritionist, and yoga instructor. Thank you for the comments, compliments. I mean, that's very nice. We glitched out there in the middle, so I'm not really sure what happened, but I hope this has empowered you to make some better choices, if nothing else. I know that was a lot of rambling, but I feel like I could probably do a few episodes on just trying to simplify health and wellness a little bit, giving you the power by giving you a little bit of knowledge and just explaining some things in a more simplistic way because I'm pretty good at grabbing all the information and just kind of spitting out the relevant stuff in a simplistic way. I'm not really like a specialist per se in any particular area. It's more of a broader picture that I can paint. So, like I said, I hope that this has empowered you to make better choices. I hope it's made you look at your views on what and how you eat, and I hope it pulls the thread on reality a little bit of like who's running the world and why our food system is the way it is. I look forward to your comments and hopefully questions. And if I got some of it wrong with some of my made up statistics, you just show me and show us all, teach us all in the comment section like what the real answer is, because that's what it's about. It's just about creating a conversation and having open dialogue about some of these things and trying to invoke a little conversation. So um and also if there's anybody in the comment section uh who wants to use it as a little bit of a hate on or anything like that, we just I just ask other people to recognize these people as people who are not very happy, not very fulfilled people, that this is how they feel like they need to feel better, I guess. So treat them like toddlers. They need love the most. So, or just ignore them altogether. But we got to honor these vessels we've been given and give ourselves the best life we can to heal our gut so that we can trust our